Tomorrow marks 20 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks. Even 2 decades later, the images and what we all felt during the tragedy still resonates in the hearts and minds of Americans. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. One of the most common questions people ask is, where were you on 9/11? For one local teacher, she was flying across the country to San Diego to visit family. But her story has a different perspective.
She is deaf, and too often in times of crisis, the deaf or those with sensory disabilities are the last to learn what's happening. News 8's Kirsten Holmes sat down with her and shares her story.
Remember where you were on 9/11, and then imagine for a moment what that experience would have been like for you if you couldn't hear and there was no direct communication with you. That was Laura Kim's experience as she made her connecting flight at the Denver airport.
Just like a regular flight, we walked out of the gate off of the airplane, but I noticed all the flights on the monitors had been canceled, like every single one of them.
And that served as Laura's first clue that something wasn't right. Immediately, she asked an airline gate attendant what was going on.
She just wrote 2 words to me, and I could see that people around me were panicked. I could see that their behavior and their emotions in their face, and I knew something was up. I found a security guard and said, "Please tell me what's going on." So he said that the World Trade Center had been attacked by terrorists. I looked for a restaurant, and luckily there was closed captioning on that television. So thank God for that. But then I saw the images over and over, the plane flying into the towers, and I was shocked. There was one piece of footage where I saw people falling from the building, and that just was awful. I felt really sad for those people.
And when Laura Kim tried to get in contact with her family, all of the payphones were busy. Once she reached the only TTY payphone specifically designed for the hearing impaired, a normal call time for her became a burden for those waiting.
People behind me were getting really frustrated, but there was nothing I could do.
She still gets nervous when she's traveling because despite advancements in technology, those with disabilities are still too often left behind in an emergency. Today, Laura is a teacher at Innovation Middle School.
They don't always know the story, so I have to tell them the story about what happened. Teach that part of history in my class.
And she now has firsthand experience navigating the world through a tragedy without being able to hear that she can now share with her students. Kirsten Holmes, News 8.